truth is, this is a really exciting time for me in my career because I'm in my 5th level of life. I know I look like I'm still in my 20s, right?
You do. You do. So do I.
You do.
Don't say anything.
It's like twins.
Be patient, find your time, get them down, do your thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna have fun out there.
Let's have fun.
Guess who it is?
Hey, Dawn.
Hi.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Grab this.
Okay.
All right, buddy, I'm thinking like 5 to 10, all right?
Yeah.
There.
Hi. Wanna come sit, baby? Are you okay? Are you high? Look at me. Look at me. Why are you being so weird? Your eyes look weird. Look. Okay. Come here. Come here. Okay. You made me feel so fucking stupid coming in here. It's like you guys were talking shit or something. I fucking flew halfway across the globe. You asked me to come.
I said thank you.
Oh yeah? And then you acted like a fucking dick in front of your friend.
How's
Don't
that?
call me next time. Please, Don, come. I'm lonely. Fuck you.
I'm trying to focus. It has nothing to do with you.
Can you
Don, it
say
has
hello to
nothing
me?
to
You
do
don't
with
even
you.
have time
This
to
has
say
nothing to
hello
do
to
with
me.
you.
How
I just don't want to
welcome? How
fight.
about-
Not
okay.
now,
Would it be
please.
easier if I punched you in the face?
Yes,
Yeah?
punch me in the fucking face.
Could we communicate
Punch
then
me
if
in
I
the fucking face.
punched you
Punch me in the fucking face. The biggest night of my
You're
life.
so
Punch me in the
fucking mean to
fucking
me, you know
face.
that?
Come in.
すみません. I'm so sorry. We are ready for downstairs. Please just come with me.
Yeah, thank you. You're out of fucking control.
I'm sorry.
近い2階でございます。上参ります。
This is a true clash of two giants in the sport, boss.
I really don't know what to expect here. Of course, we expect Igor to start throwing bombs and Mark to go for the takedown.
We've got Kerr, the quintessential wrestler, the takedown artist, against maybe the purest puncher in the game, in Igor Vovchenko. And there's Mark Coleman, former 3-time UFC champion, cornering Mark Kerr. So you know he's going to be cornering him from...
I'm gonna go find my seat, okay?
Welcome to Behind the Lens. Today I have somebody who's not only behind the lens because he's a very prolific producer with over 50 producing credits, but you know him in front of the lens as well, from every movie you can imagine in the last 20 years. Big blockbusters, and now critically acclaimed film Smashing Machine, in which he plays Mark Kerr, a MMA fighter, and just throws himself into this role like you can't imagine. This is Dwayne Johnson.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Pete. Good to see you.
When I talk about you throw yourself into this role, I think it obviously had to surprise people because we know you
Sure.
bigger than life on the screen and everything, but
Sure.
I've never seen you do a role like this, and I don't think anybody had.
Well, thank you for saying that. And I was looking for the challenge. I had felt like I've been lucky to have this amazing career over the years. And I was looking to challenge myself in ways that I had not been challenged before as an actor, but also there was a little voice about maybe 6, 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, that was behind my rib cage that was saying, there is more. You can do more. And you can do something perhaps where you disappear.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing for me, was this idea, because I had been told before in the past, like, you're in big blockbusters, you do action, you do comedy, maybe you do musicals, but you can't disappear. And that, it got to me, and not because people were saying I couldn't do it, but because, oh wait, I thought, well, I can disappear. I'd like to give it a shot, but also I would really like to challenge myself and find the right director, which was Benny Safdie, and then the right studio who saw something else in me, which was A24.
And you actually took this project to Benny. It wasn't Benny coming to you. You as your producer's hat on.
That's right.
You're saying, I'd really like to do this.
Yes.
And how did that come about for you?
Yeah, so Smashing Machine is based off a documentary called The Smashing Machine. And it came out in the mid-2000s, and I saw the documentary back then. And that was about when I was kicking off my acting career with The Scorpion King and, you know, The Rundown with Pete Berg, movies like that.
It's amazing they're doing a fourth Mummy movie.
I know.
They'll be calling.
I know. I know. I'm excited for those guys. But so I saw the documentary back then, and I thought, oh, this could really be, first of all, it's a really, I think, intriguing, compelling story. And I had known Mark, at least I had met him. The legend of who Mark Kerr was in the world of MMA was pretty profound back then. But the story is a sad story, and it doesn't end well for Mark. Now, he's doing great today, thank God, by the grace of...
I saw him at the end of the movie. I mean,
he's doing, yes. He overdosed twice in his career. He lost everything in his career, but he is sober. And he is happy. So I saw the documentary back then, and I thought, oh, this could be a really good, I think, compelling story. And even back then I thought, God, I would love to play Mark Kerr.
Yeah.
And back then I felt like, well, I think I need a little bit more experience under my belt and maybe live some life. And so years later, when I heard that voice, which was, hey, there is more. You know, you're very lucky to be where you're at. And what do you want to do? You could either sit here at the top of this mountain, look out in the sunset, or ride off into the sunset. Or I felt like, oh, I know what I want to do. I want to go build more mountain, make new mountain. And I don't know what that means, but I want to challenge myself. So years later, 2019, I brought the documentary to Benny Safdie.
Yeah.
And he loved it. He responded to it. He said, I think we could make something really special.
Benny, did you see Uncut Gems and what Adam Sandler was allowed to do?
That's exactly what happened. It's exactly, I watched Uncut Gems. I've known Adam for a long time. I was so happy for this turn for him because I felt like he, very similarly, he wanted to challenge himself and he wanted to be more. So I loved Adam in Uncut Gems. But there was also something about Uncut Gems that really grabbed me by the shirt collar and didn't let me go. And I think it was this anxiousness, the anxiety of it. I thought the realness of his casting and their casting in the film. There was just the grittiness of it, the cinema verite kind of style about it. And it wasn't the happy ending that a lot of times we're used to in movies.
Right.
And it was gutsy.
Yeah.
So I felt like I had a movie if we were going to find a place to make it in the Smashing Machine, where by the end of the movie, it's Rocky 1, where you don't win. And not only does he not win, but he loses everything. Yeah. And he ODs twice, and he's lucky to be alive. It's hard to make those kinds of movies. Is there a way, and is there a filmmaker that can turn this movie into something compelling? And I presented it to Benny, and I didn't know what kind of guy Benny was based on the movie.
Right.
Until you know Benny, right? So it's like when you sit with Benny, I was so moved by his childlike charisma and his humanity. And I felt like, God, this feels like kismet. It feels like if we don't make this movie together, I think we're going to be friends. And I gained a friend, and gained a filmmaker who saw something in me that I thought I saw too. And it meant the world to me. That's why I say, Peter, now that the Smashing Machine, it changed my life.
Yeah, well, there's no question. And you and Emily Blunt are just harrowing to watch in parts of this movie. It is so raw is the only word I can think of. And it felt so real watching it. And I have to tell you, I didn't see it at Venice. I reviewed a lot of movies out of Venice that they'd show me in LA, but I only had one critic in Venice
Okay.
and stuff. And I didn't see this before, so he reviewed it. I went and paid for it at my local theater.
Oh, thank you,
And
man.
watched it,
Uh,
and I'd heard a lot about it and all of that. And I watched it and it's going along, and then, oh my God, there are scenes there where the camera looks like handheld or something, and it's just catching real life here. And
Yes.
the rage and fury that you have in some of these scenes with her
Yes.
is extraordinary.
Yes, thank you for saying that. So a few things. Maceo Bishop, who's our DP, who's also our camera operator, worked with Benny on The Curse a little bit and worked also with him on Uncut Gems. So the scenes in the ring and in the cage, there was and when we talk about camera work here, what Benny made a rule at the beginning of the movie. He said, we're going to have to go counterintuitive. Cameras will not be allowed in the ring.
Yeah.
Ever. All right.
Which who's heard of a movie like this?
You don't, especially with a movie. So, for example, like Raging Bull with Scorsese, that was one of Benny's inspirations, and the camera's in there.
Yeah.
Marty put the cameras in there. In this, Benny said, I want it to feel real, so I want the cameras back 2 or 3 rows.
Yeah.
I want you to fight the backs of the heads of the people, the turnbuckles, the aprons, the ropes. I want it to feel like that. And he did it. And again, it's counterintuitive filmmaking. And then when we got to the house, when it was Emily and I, Benny and Maceo, he took that same ideology, he applied it, but here's what he did. He built the house on a soundstage where we lived.
Right.
No movable walls, running water.
Wow.
Everything was exact as best we could, with production design where they lived in their house, because they still had a lot of things from back then. Lighting, there's lighting here that we have for our podcast and our show. You never saw lighting. He put it all in the ceilings. So by the time we got on set, we were just walking into our house. We never saw a camera because he built those walls that were immovable so we could hide the cameras.
So you never saw it. Doesn't look like a film set.
Not at all. So I think what that does is it brings you in and it makes you feel like you're violating this space between a man and a woman who maybe you shouldn't be. When Christopher Nolan first watched the film, that was the first thing he said to Benny. He goes, I mean this is the greatest compliment. I feel like I shouldn't be watching this.
I had the same reaction. I'm watching and I'm going like, oh my God,
Yes.
what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
And it just was extraordinary. The only time I've heard of this kind of technique done was in The Zone of Interest. They built a whole house in that, and he hid the cameras so it looked like
Yes.
everyday life for them.
Like everyday life. And a lot of times he would hide the cameras, Benny would hide the cameras, and he'd go long lens. And again, counterintuitive, which you take a shot, you take a risk here. He felt it would really draw the viewer and the audience in.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And I also want to say this about Emily. I feel like, and thank you for saying that, because I feel like our explosive volcanic relationship that you see between Mark and Dawn and between me and Emily, I think it could only happen if there were trust and love.
Yeah.
And I've known her now for almost a decade. We're the best of friends. Thank God, because those scenes where we had to go, the rawness of it, I feel like, thankfully it was with a friend who I love and respect, who we had each other.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to say some awful things and we are going to be very, very close to being physical.
Was it improv at all, or was it all in the script?
There was a few things that were improv. So for example, when we first see Mark's first fight in Japan, she flies all the way over to Japan. She comes in the locker room.
Yeah.
He doesn't even say hello. And she flew 15, 16 hours to be there for him at his request on his big night. He's an asshole to her. Doesn't even acknowledge her when she walks into the dressing room.
Wow.
It was improv because I feel like I know what that's like. I've seen that before with my own dad. My dad was a pro wrestler at one time, and I know what it's like to watch my mom really give up her life and commit just for my dad's life and his dreams. And so many times I would watch her walk into a room and he's getting ready and preparing for the thing that he does. And he wouldn't even acknowledge her. And that kind of pain, when I wanted to watch that, it's like this idea that the one you love is in the same room, but yet you treat them as if they're invisible.
Yeah.
And so when Emily walked in on that first take, I completely ignored her. And you see the look on her face. You see how much it kills her. And then, of course, things explode about 2 minutes later between us.
Yeah, I've seen, she has said that, she said you just came in and, you were so into this character and playing this guy that you were unrecognizable to her. And you'd worked together, obviously.
That's right. Yeah,
Jungle Crew. So
she was really moved the very first time I came on set, and I just walked on set quietly, and I was Mark Kerr at that time. And
you had to put on, I mean, people think Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, you're a big guy, but you had to actually put on weight for this.
It was crazy. It was crazy. It was so I had to, so Benny said to me, and it was very funny. He said, he goes, I don't know. I don't think you've ever been asked this before, but I'd like you to get bigger. I said, sure. In what way? He goes, well, just let's look at Mark and his body. But what you realize is, and I did, by the way, there was a physical transformation. I gained over 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And what I realized fast is that it's hard to put on 5 pounds.
Right.
Especially if it's a quality of muscle that Mark Kerr had. So Benny said, hey, I'd love for you to put on weight. Mark Kerr's a very big, muscular guy, but he also moved like a cheetah. Right. And he was this incredibly athletically gifted man and he had a quality of muscle because he was one of the best amateur wrestlers.
Yeah.
His neck, his shoulders, his everything. So I said, if I have 12 weeks, and we had a pretty long prep, I said, I think I could do this. Then there was 23 prosthetics with Kazuhiro, who was...
Kazuhiro doesn't get better than him.
He was the best. He was the greatest.
He really had the best in the business.
I really did. And but it helped me. And now I understand, Kazu talked to me very early. He said, you're going to be sitting in the chair every day for months, for 3 to 4 hours, maybe longer, depending on how much bruising we have to put on you. I said, okay, sure. I'm in it. I'm locked in. But I'll tell you this, at the end of day one, I understood. I understood the power of prosthetics. And when you want to embody someone and get in their skin and become that human being, the power of that, Peter. So I would look at my phone, I'd look up every 30 minutes, and something else would be different. My eyebrows would be gone, and then new eyebrows would be on, and then new eyes, and then new nose, and cauliflower ear. At the end of 3.5, 4 hours, I would look up and completely different person. It was wild. It was very surreal, but very invaluable to the process.
What was the biggest challenge for you personally? I mean, where did you find it within yourself to do some of these scenes in this movie, which, has to come from somewhere. I don't want to call it Strasberg method acting, or actor studio, but maybe it is. I don't know. Or maybe you're a method actor and you don't know it.
Well, I think we've had this conversation before. I think that it was a method that I inhabited, and I felt like if I was going to embody and become someone else and really get in their skin, then what does that mean? Yeah. And I tell you, from the time I walked on set, I was Mark Kerr, and I finally felt it wash away from me. It sounds a little weird, a little actory, and that's okay. It's okay, but because it's our process, right? Yeah. And everyone has a different process and a different method. And I was just listening to Daniel Day-Lewis actually say, like, a beautiful interview about him talking about his method and what it means and how everyone has their own different style and method. Yeah. And around 1 o'clock in the morning, every night, once I showered, all the blood is off, the prosthetics, the glue, every shower was about 45 minutes. I finally felt like, oh, this is a version of myself that I could finally go to bed. And it's pretty wild, the process. So I think the biggest challenge for me was, trying to find grace in this role, because at the end of the day, Mark had his struggles and his demons with his addictions. He's sober today. He did overdose twice. And he had a hard time. And once he lost in Japan, for his very, very first time he ever lost in his career, it kind of wasn't the same. So the grace I'm talking about is you realize that for me personally, through personal experience, I lost a lot of friends who were addicted to pain pills, who just couldn't find their way
Right.
through, they overdosed, they passed away, and they committed suicide. These were all guys who were so young and vibrant, and one of my best friends who was a wrestler with me on the road, and he just had a hard time. These were all wrestlers. There was a rash in professional wrestling and a little in MMA, but more in professional wrestling in the late to early 2000s.
Right.
I lost a lot of friends. So that was the biggest challenge for me, I think, is finding this grace with Mark Kerr and being comfortable and anchored in knowing, even though at the end of this film, without spoiling it, he doesn't win, but yet his biggest win is his sobriety. And no matter how hard life can get for all of us, whether you're the champion of the world or not, things can be okay.
Yeah.
And that's what Benny wanted to do at the end of the movie. Things are going to be okay.
And that's amazing. The movie opened and it, there were a lot of headlines saying lowest grossing of your career. But of course, when you've had these blockbusters, it's kind of unfair when you're doing something like this that's totally challenging. But did you worry about that your fans might be coming to see something else than you were doing and that you want them to go along with you on this journey?
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. That's a great question. And thank you for phrasing it that way. I wasn't too worried about that because I felt like our campaign was an honest campaign.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, hey, look over here and I'm going to present something here, but it's not what you think it is. It's like, no, we're very specific about that. Not only as someone who acted in the film, but also as a producer too, and someone who is sensitive to what we deliver to our audiences. So I wasn't worried about that. My early thought was, and it kind of continued, was I just want to make sure that that audiences know this is an art house drama.
Right.
And it's an auteur director.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give the film away, but you could kind of get a sense he's not winning the whole thing at the end. And I think in the honest campaign that we delivered, combined with, I think, my just interviews and talking about it, I felt like it all kind of converged.
Yeah.
And
it's the great thing about movies like this is it lives on, especially during what they call award season here.
Right.
My Critics' Choice group just got the movie, and as we speak, and it's going out everybody on the digital platforms and all the ways you can see movies. So it's something that's going to be continually discovered, I think.
Yeah, and what you said is, that was something that I had to discover too as well. So you talk about discovery, and what I mean by that is that was a discipline that I had to remind myself of. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's not get too wrapped up in opening weekend.
Yeah.
Because you can.
Well, that's what this business does.
Sure. And I get it.
Opening weekend, they don't even wait. Thursday night now. They'll tell you.
For sure. and I get it. It's the business we're in, right? Yeah. But the discipline for me was that going into that second weekend, okay, it's the long haul. It's the ice climb. It's, the marathon here. Keep that in mind.
That's totally it too. And, what I like to see is that you're going full hog into trying out different kinds of roles now. I mean, they've announced Lizard music, which you're playing like an old man with an elderly chicken.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for Benny, that sounds great. I don't know the book, but it's.
Oh, you're going to love it. It's based off a children's book, and it's written from Daniel Pinkwater, and it's called Lizard Music. And it's a popular book, but it's also a unique book, and unique in Daniel Pinkwater's still alive, and he's so excited about this. But he said something to Benny, which really kind of anchored the story in. He said, he goes, I feel like when kids read my books, they're going to be okay.
Right.
And that was it, right? So Benny came to me with this idea. And yes, you're right. I play a 75-year-old man who has a 110-year-old chicken.
Yeah.
And his name is the Chicken Man. And how about this? There was a real chicken man who lived in the streets of Chicago.
Right.
And he had his pet chicken. The chicken would do dances. The chicken lived under his big top hat. It's a wild character. That's why I'm slimming down now for the role. But Benny also said something about this. He said, he pitched me and I ended our call it was like an hour call or something like that. And I said, well, Benny, I am your chicken man. All right. And he goes, okay, great, DJ. I think we can make something special. And I said, it kind of sounds like this is and I said, I know I'm way over my skis by saying this. And I say this because he knows that Gene Wilder is one of my favorite actors.
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, it kind of sounds like you're Willy Wonka. And he goes, in a way it is. So then he said, the feeling we've created with the Smashing Machine. I said, in what way? He goes, well, I just feel like for a lot of people who watch our movie, they're really rocked by it. And sometimes it stays with them. 3, 4, 5 days later, you see them and they go like, look, I'm still shook about what I saw on the screen. I said, yeah. And he goes, I'd like to create a movie that hopefully can create that same feeling for the entire family.
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, wow, okay, man. Yeah. I said, okay, I'm in. But you're right. It's lizard music. It's the
You're gonna do a Martin Scorsese
movie.
playing a aspiring mob.
Well, how about he is the imagined godfather of all the Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah, which is great.
And he really lived. He's alive today. His name is Nappy Pulava. He's my Uncle Nappy. We've spent a lot of time with them in Maui. And it's really, for that one, Peter, it's almost like the most incredible, unbelievable story that's never been told. Almost like the last mob story that's never been told. So the islands of Hawaii, they were a mob territory that was a very hot territory, as you can imagine.
Right.
The Japanese, the Koreans, the Chinese, the mobsters coming in from Vegas, from New York.
Yeah.
Like they all wanted to take over Hawaii.
Wow.
But there was one man who said no. And so it's right up Scorsese's alley. He's been incredible to work with, and Emily Blunt as well.
And she's in it, and Leo, I heard.
Leo too, as well.
Amazing. Is this one you came up with, or how did this?
So I'm glad you asked. We were rehearsing on a Sunday in Vancouver, myself and Emily, and we were just going over the week's work. And she said, "What's next? What are you doing next?" I said, "I don't know." I said, well, "What are you doing next?" She goes, "Well, I'm doing this little thing with Steven Spielberg." I went, "Oh, just a little thing, right?" The UFO movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And she goes, is there anything that's been interesting to you? And I said, what's always been interesting to me is when you grow up in Hawaii like I did.
Yeah.
There's the beautiful Hawaii that we all know and love. Waikiki Beach, the beautiful music, the cocktails, the sand, the romanticism of it. I said, but and I lived a couple of miles from Waikiki Beach. I said, if you go a couple of miles and you make the wrong turn, you're in a whole different world.
Yeah.
And she goes, really? I said, yeah, and it's still happening today. I said, so that's always been interesting to me. I don't know what the inn is yet, but I grew up there. So anyway, we're on our way, a week later, we're on our way to Japan to finish out the Smashing Machine. And she goes, have you ever heard of Nappy Pulava? And I went, holy shit, how do you know Nappy Pulava? Because growing up, we all knew Nappy, and that was his name. And she goes, well, I did some research, and she pulled this up, and there's not much on Google. She goes, but this seems really interesting. And so we start talking about it and batting this thing around, and all of a sudden, we call our agents, and they go, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And my agent Ari said, can I call Marty? I said, I think you should.
Wow.
I did, and Marty heard it. Marty immediately said, I have to hear this. Let me hear it. And so that's how this whole thing kind of came together.
So amazing.
Yeah.
See, little things like that. It's fate.
That's right.
This turn in your career is meant to be, and it's all these little things that wouldn't have happened unless you weren't also
Open to it. Right?
open to it and also able to get it going.
Yes.
As a producer too. Very
100%.
important to take charge of your own career, I think, and you've done it forever here as a producer.
As best you can. Yes. But by the way, thank you for saying that, because truth is, this is a really exciting time for me in my career, because you reach a point in your career, and we've all been in this thing together for some time, where there's a few ways you can go.
Right.
You know, and I'm in my 5th level of life. I know I look like I'm still in my 20s, right?
You do. You do. So do I.
You do.
Don't say anything.
It's like twins.
I feel like it.
Right? It's like looking in the mirror. So, you know, it could go a few different ways, but I wanted to not only challenge myself, but to look at other things and like, what's this idea of growth and growing and working with different directors and telling different stories. And I love this idea of disappearing. Like, there's something intriguing to me about that. It's like with the Chicken Man, 75 years old, and playing Uncle Nappy, Pulava, where I would prosthetics again.
And Mark, you know, and those are two people both living that you're talking about there, not the Chicken Man, but the other two.
That's right, Mark and Nappy, both. And there is something intriguing about playing human beings that are alive.
That are here. I mean, that's a certain responsibility, I think.
That's something that I never thought about until you start thinking about it.
Yeah.
And for myself and for Emily, who she played, Dawn Staples, Mark Kerr's ex-wife, who they have a kid with, she's alive.
Yeah.
And that's a hell of a responsibility, because if you think about it, that documentary, The Smashing Machine, came out in mid-2000s. And at the end of that documentary, it doesn't end well.
Right.
Because they don't have much. And she's villainized in that documentary.
Yeah.
I think unfairly.
Right.
He doesn't have anything at the end of that documentary. And since then, that's been their legacy.
Wow.
So if you think, right, so they're not on podcasts, they're not doing anything, there was no TV show or no series. So now we're going to make a movie, and now you can imagine their Mark and Dawn's their fear.
Wow.
Like, how are we gonna look?
Yeah.
You know, how are you gonna portray us? It's a big deal. And I'll give Emily so much credit. She was really the one who took charge for Dawn and wanted to make sure that she carried her legacy properly.
You got to keep Emily around. She keeps like
Dude. I do. All right, Emily, I got to keep you around. You're Peter.
I'm serious. Now, don't worry. He's not giving up everything else. As we speak, you're about to start Jumanji.
Yeah, I can't wait. We start Jumanji next week, as we talked, and as we talked off camera.
Yeah.
It was just so amazing to be around that amount of joy. Right. Again, in that table read for 4 hours, we're laughing. It's myself, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Karen Gillan. I mean, it's Jake Kasdan. Everybody's back. And this third Jumanji, fourth technically, but this third Jumanji, it feels like it is a I don't want to color too much. I'll just say, at the end of the movie, it was emotional, and it felt like a beautiful grace note to say goodbye.
Oh, so you're saying this is it, right? This is it.
This will be
I
it.
just heard that, but it's not goodbye for Moana either.
No,
You've got the live action.
yeah,
coming up.
we just wrapped live action a couple of months ago, but we just came back and we finally finished the entire number of You're Welcome.
Oh, wow.
Oh man, it's so good. I'm so excited about it.
And
And
you can sing.
a little bit. I could hold a tune. You're very
Oh,
kind
you
to say.
can. I mean, from the animated films and everything. Yeah. You
thank you.
definitely can sing. And
What can I say except never mind.
oh,
No,
there
no.
we go. I love it. And it's so
But I am still doing those things, by the way, and there's still a place for, I think, the big fun movies.
yeah.
that-
Fast X, is that happening?
I don't know if I'm doing that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
See.
but
If you go on IMDb, you know, and I can never trust it, it's got endless projects that you may or may not be doing. You know, you never know.
I think you got to whack about 80% of those off, and then
Yeah, that's what I think.
right,
No,
and then it's like
trust them.
the ones you could look at and you go, that feels good. Jumanji or Moana,
Moana,
or doing this movie, J.J. Abrams, by the way, that's like this big it's about movies and in the theaters.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's very, very cool. Can't
What's
wait.
that one?
That one is going to be, imagine, well, imagine if movies came to life.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. That'll be
in
fun.
different genres
Okay. Wow.
through the, I think, vision of J.J.
JJ.
Abrams.
Oh my God. So fun.
So
Well, congratulations on Smashing Machine.
Thank
I
you very
mean,
much.
I wasn't in Venice, but I saw the reaction to the movie there, and that has to be a wild experience to sit there in an audience like that. And
Well, that was, I've never experienced that before. And I'll share this with you really quickly before we say goodbye is, you know, I'd not had a movie invited to Venice before. So it was a big deal to me.
yeah.
And I was really super grateful. I land on Saturday. Our movie comes out on Monday. Your colleague was there to review the film. And so on Saturday, you know, we got a little downtime and I'm looking at my phone. And all the movies are starting to come out at Venice. And now it's all the standing ovations
Yeah.
at the end.
Right.
And I'm looking and I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool. This movie came out and it got this standing ovation. There's George Clooney and oh, there's Julia Roberts and oh, this one. And then I went, oh shit, wait, am I gonna get a standing ovation? Am I not? Like I feel like they were the OG veterans who've been to Venice a gazillion times. I've never been there. And I'm like, oh man, I started to think, and I called Benny and Emily and we got together at the hotel that night and I said, if we don't get a standing ovation, do I start it myself? Which I know true. Do you start it? Do we three start it? I don't know what to do.
That's the best.
Oh man. And then, you know, the audience erupts and it's 15.5 minutes later and I'm crying and everyone's crying. And I never experienced that in my life and I'll never forget it. But you know what, Peter, it helped me understand and really appreciate the ceremony of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And being there. And now I understand what that means. And for that long.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful,
It's
man.
amazing.
I was happy I didn't have to start. But
And now you'll want to keep going.
That's right.
Dennis. I mean, that's
I
a
can't wait
fun
to come
thing.
back. Yeah, it was so much fun.
That's
Yeah.
cinema. It's where, you know.
Yes. Yes. And then Benny got called back for Best Director.
I know.
It's crazy.
No, in a jury led by Alexander, you know, who did so many different kinds of movies. And I thought, you know, wow, Alexander Payne,
Yes.
his jury recognizes this film. That's something.
That was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I was so happy for Benny
Yeah.
and for our movie.
It's very cool. Well, Smashing Machine, you can find it everywhere and check it out. This is Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, it's good to talk to you. We got to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
My twin.